In this video we're going to learn all about scale factors. So to scale something means to make it larger or smaller. Some common examples of this is looking at a map, or if you're ever having to resize an image on a computer, you're scaling it. The word factor means to multiply numbers, so that's important. So a scale factor is the number that's multiplied by the object's original size to become the new one. And as we go along in this lesson, you'll get a better understanding of what that definition actually means. Okay, so there are two types of scale factors. The first one's called an enlargement, and as you can probably guess, enlargement makes an image bigger. The second one is called a reduction, and that is when you make something smaller. So an important difference between an enlargement and a reduction is that the scale factor for an enlargement is always going to be greater than 1. A reduction, the scale factor will be between 0 and 1. This is really helpful to remember this because if you're ever actually having to calculate, say, the scale factor that was used in this image, and if you got a number that was less than 1, like 0.26 or whatever, then you know you've made a mistake because you can think, well, by common sense, this is an enlargement, so since my answer is not greater than 1, then I must have done something wrong. So, once again, an enlargement, the scale factor has to be more than 1, and for reduction, the scale factor would be between 0 and 1. Now, let's take a look at a quick example to get a better understanding of this. So here we've got a picture of a bear. I'll just show you what I want. This is our original image here. Original. Okay, now you can see over here it's being reduced to being half the size. So our original was 4 inches by 4 inches, and down here it's being reduced to a size of 2 inches by 2 inches. So to find the scale factor, there is a fun little formula. So to find the scale factor, what you're going to do is take a distance from the scaled image, and we're going to divide it by the distance of the original. So let's go take a look back at our previous example. First, let's find out what the distance of the scaled image is. So our scaled image is this reduction here. That's what it's become. And so the distance here, we can choose the height or length. It doesn't really matter. They're both 2. So for the scale factor for this example is going to be 2 inches divided by something, the distance of the original image. So looking back, our original image is 4 by 4. So I'm going to divide it by 4. And if I calculate 2 divided by 4, I'm going to get 0.5. So that would be the scale factor. And as you can see, that's what they show right here. The scale factor was 0.5. Now that's actually been reduced to be half of its original size. Next, take a look at the enlargement, this one over here. So you can see that it has grown twice in size. The original distance was 4, and the new distance is 8. So if we're going to calculate the scale factor of this enlargement, first I'm going to find the distance of the scaled image. So the scaled image was 8 inches by 8 inches, and I'm going to divide that by the distance of the original, and we know that the original was 4. It was 4 inches. And if we calculate 8 divided by 4, we get 2. So the scale factor used for the enlargement was 2, as you can see right there. So let's try out another example. The question is, what scale factor was used to create the model version of this car? So I can tell right away that this is definitely got to be reduction. It's an actual car and it's a model version of it, a little tiny version of it. Now we know the formula for scale factor. It is the distance of the scaled image divided by the distance of the original. Now you'll notice something goes wrong here. If I take the distance of the scaled one, for example 8 inches, and I divide it by the original distance, 8 feet, and 8 divided by 8 gets me 1. But that doesn't make sense, right? Because we know a reduction has to have a scale factor of less than 1. Now what the problem is that the units have to be the same for this to work. Our model is in inches and our actual car is in feet. So before we do any calculations, we need to make them the same units. Now I know that there are 12 inches in a foot, so 12 inches is 1 foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change 5 feet into inches. Now for every 1 foot there's 12 inches, so if I have 5 feet I would do 5 times 12, and that is 60 inches. So I'm just going to write 60 there instead of, so 60 inches. And then for 8 feet I would do 12 inches times that, so 12 times 8, which would get me 96 inches. Okay, now this is what I'm going to compare. Now I can choose either to compare the 60 inches to the 5 inches or the 96 to 8. I should get the exact same answer, and we'll actually check to make sure that we do. Alright, so let's start with the 5 inches. I'm going to take the scale distance, so that's 5, and I'm going to divide it by the original. Well, the 5 inches used to be 60 inches. Okay, so 5 divided by 60 is 0.083 repeating. So it's a really small scale factor, which makes sense because the little model of the car is like way smaller than how it used to be. I mean compared to the actual car size. Now I want to show you that you should get the exact same answer if we chose the other distance, the 8 inches. So if we do 8 divided by 96, let me just calculate that. And we do. We get the exact same answer, 0.083 repeating. So that's the scale factor that was used to make the model version of the car. Okay, real quick, there's one last type of question I want to show you. And it's when you'll actually be given the scale factor of something and you have to draw either an enlargement or a reduction. For example, let's say there is a happy face here, and he has a diameter of, I don't know, 5 centimeters. And the question is to draw an enlargement of the face using a scale factor of 2.5. It's actually quite simple. What we'll do is we'll take the distance and multiply it by our scale factor. So 5 times 2.5 gets me 12.5 centimeters. So all I need to do is just use a ruler, and I'm going to draw a circle with a diameter of 12.5 centimeters. And that's it. It's that easy. If the question was to draw a reduction, and it was a scale factor of, say, I don't know, 0.6, then I would just multiply the original distance times that scale factor. So just to wrap up this video, I want you to understand the difference between these two questions. If you're comparing two images and you're looking for the scale factor that was used, then you're going to divide the scaled distance divided by the original. Now if you're looking for the dimensions of an enlargement or a reduction, that's when you multiply the original distance of the object times the scale factor. Alright, and that's it for this video.